Now, if you click off of this video too early, you're going to miss the exact moment everything stops making sense. And then suddenly it makes like too much sense.
It is so incredible to be here with you all as you show the country just how courageous and dedicated and resistant we are. In the United States of America, we pledge allegiance to the Constitution and the flag, not to a person or a king. I came to this country as a refugee. To me, America was a beacon of hope, a place where freedom wasn't just a word, but it was a promise. I arrived here when I was 12 years old. I could have never imagined the day would come when we were staring down at this kind of creeping authoritarianism in the United States of America. But we are here because Donald Trump just has not chipped away at our democracy. He has taken a wrecking ball to the very foundation of what makes America great. He has tried to intimidate Minnesotans. He has tried to make us afraid. He has tried to divide us. But we stood strong. We have had each other's back, and we have never bent the knee. Because in Minnesota, we are built different. We do not cower to bullies. We are Minnesota strong.
Now, listen carefully to what she's doing, right? She's not just telling a story. She's positioning herself inside the story. Refugee, hope, America saved me, and then, boom, she pivots into America is being destroyed. Now, that's not accidental. That's definitely emotional framing right there. Because if you can make people feel something strong enough, they stop asking questions. And the moment people stop doing that, that's when the narrative starts getting protected instead of, challenged. Here's where it gets real tingly. Because right after the emotion comes the policy. Now, once you move from emotion to policy, now you got to ask, what exactly are you trying to protect?
We are looking at in Washington, D.C. is the SAFE Act, which is a piece of legislation that is in regards to, they say, creating a safe election. And we say it is a bill that disenfranchises half of the population in the United States. It's a bill that requires for people to show a proof of citizenship. We know that majority of married women who have changed their names, who might not have access to their original birth certificates and all the documents that they need in time to be able to vote on any of the primaries that are happening in the next few weeks, few months, or the November election. Will be disenfranchised. So Democrats are voting no. And when it passed out of the House, I did vote no in that bill, on that bill as well.
Now, did you catch that? Half the population will be disenfranchised. That's a massive claim. Like massive. You know what I'm saying? But notice something. It's not built on numbers. It's built on fear. Because if you tell people the law will take your voice away, they don't check the details. They just react to it. And that's where the strategy shows itself. You create emotional urgency so nobody slows down long enough to ask, wait, what is that actually true? I need to know. And the reason that question matters is because of what's happening in the background, right? Because while the conversation is happening here, hold on, let me get it queued up. Nope, my fault, y'all, my fault, queued up. But while it's happening, up here, there's another conversation happening over here that they don't want connected.
So I would love more accuracy of information, as they say they're the most transparent administration, which is the biggest lie told on American soil, I believe. It is the least transparent. It is the most corrupt. It is the one administration I have seen lie to us, even though we have an accurate documentation of their lies, even if we are witnesses to the lies. So I would love more.
I just realized the volume on that one sucked. My bad, y'all. I'm over here having some technical difficulties this morning. Yeah, the volume on that was horrible, but I feel like I should play it again, turn it up. I ain't gonna do y'all like that. But I'll make sure I turn it up in the ones to come after. Now, the tone shifts here. You know, no more vulnerability, none of that. Now it's aggression. Most corrupt administration. Biggest lie. You know, this is what pressure looks like when it turns outward. Because when you can't control the narrative anymore, you try to overwhelm it. You flood the room with accusations, so nobody has the time to follow one thread all the way through. But the problem is, there is a thread. There is, and it keeps leading back to the same exact place. Same exact place, y'all. And once the thread gets pulled, you start hearing things you weren't supposed to hear yet.
Said we're looking for legal remedies. Off the top of your head, how do you get somebody out who has committed immigration fraud?
Well, I think there's several avenues you can go, but I mean, if there's evidence that you are aiding and abetting or helping to coordinate fraud, then you face criminal sentences. If that happens, then the federal government certainly has the ability, the discretion. The courts have been clear to denaturalize based on somebody that has violated the laws of our federal government in this country. So I would do everything I can to get her charged and prosecuted and convicted. If she needs to serve time here, that should absolutely happen. But then she should be denaturalized and sent back on a plane to where she came from. She's been criticizing America for years, calling on our evils. If that's the case, then she'll do well going home.
Yeah, I mean,
again, yeah, she would.
If you love it that much, then why are you here exactly?
Come on now.
We're looking for legal remedies.
Then why? Now this is where it stopped just being talk, y'all. Because when legal pathways gets mentioned, that means somebody, somewhere, is taking something serious. Charge, prosecute, denaturalize. Those aren't internet words, y'all. Those are real world consequences. And whether you believe it or not, the fact that it's even being discussed, that changes the entire temperature. Because now it's not just political anymore. It's literally procedural. Once it becomes procedural, oh my God, I did a horrible job preparing this video today. But once it becomes procedural, now you got to look at what's already happened.
Meal site in Eden Prairie and collected $1.1 million that way. The key takeaway from today's guilty pleas is that these three defendants, including one who knows how Feeding Our Future operated on the inside, are expected to be cooperating with the feds in the prosecution of the rest of the 49 defendants. Meal site in Eden.
I was a little late on turning that volume up. Y'all forgive me today. This is the first reaction of the day. I'm just waking up, turning my swag on. But this right here, this is what breaks people's trust, right? You just hearing not just the fraud, right? The response to the fraud. Because when millions are taken and consequences feel light, like ain't nobody caring or even taking them serious, people don't just get mad. They start asking, is the system actually working or just moving? Honestly, probably even just moving. What's just happening? Like, what are we doing? Once that question gets in people's heads, man, it don't leave. And then you meet people who tried to say something before all of this, y'all. Pete.
I think this is the biggest fraud in the United States history. When I was speaking in 2018 to the Minnesota House of Representatives, I said this is Minnesota's Watergate. I think it's far beyond that now.
This whistleblower claims he lost everything 9 years ago after uncovering hundreds of millions of dollars used to fund daycares that he says simply did not exist.
These daycares, is it fair to say that they were run by members of the Somali community here?
Every daycare I investigated was run by Somalis.
In December, Then U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson came forward estimating the fraud in Minnesota at nearly $9 billion. Stillman says he feels a little bit of vindication.
$9 billion, man. Jeez.
I think.
Now, this is the part that always gets buried. The person who speaks up first usually pays the highest price, right? Saying lost his career, reputation, but years later, suddenly the conversation comes back around. And everybody's acting so surprised. That's how this cycle works, right? Ignore, discredit, and then quietly admit, okay, maybe something was there. It's crazy, man. So now you got emotion, policy fear, legal talk, and real-world cases. All stacking at the same time. Which brings us to this reaction.
Can you shed any light on why the fraud got so out of control in Minnesota?
I think what happened is that, when you have these kind of new programs that are designed to help people, you're oftentimes relying on third parties to be able to facilitate. And I just think that a lot of the COVID programs that were set up, they were set up so quickly that a lot of the guardrails did not get created.
Can you shed any light on why?
Oh, really? Oh, really, really, really? Why are you saying her response? I don't know. Distrust. That's all I can say. When people feel like the system isn't consistent, they don't ask for balance. They demand correction. And right now, we're demanding some correction from this fraud. And when it feels like it can't get any louder, y'all, something else gets thrown into the mix.
Ilhan Omar, you really fucked up now, didn't you? If y'all haven't heard about this by now, let me be the first to tell you. So allegedly, the Republic of Somaliland is calling to have Ilhan Omar extradited for her crimes that she committed here in the United States. The nation's official X account responded to Vance's allegations, writing, "Deportation? Please. You're just sending the princess back to her kingdom. Extradition? Say the word." You see, Miss Ma'am, that's what happens when you play stupid games. You win stupid prizes. Now, here's my personal opinion of what I think should happen, right? Make her serve out her prison term here in the United States for however long that would be. And then absolutely extradite her back to Africa. And don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure that the punishment in Africa is a lot harsher than what it is here in the United States. But that's not my problem. This is what happens when you fuck around.
You find out. And this right here, man, this is what happens when confusion meets momentum. Unverified, unclear, but it spreads anyway. Because once people feel like something is wrong, they'll latch it onto anything that feels like confirmation. And that's the danger of all this. Not just what's true, but how fast things move when trust is already broken, right? So when you step back and you look at the full picture, the tears, because that's basically what Ilhan was doing when she was on that stage. The warnings, the accusations, the fraud cases, the legal talk. This isn't random. This is what happens when pressure builds from too many directions at once. Way too many. And the question isn't who's right. It's why does it feel like the story keeps changing depending on who's telling it? And when people start noticing that, that's when everything starts to woo. So if you made it to the end of this video, I want you to write too many directions. Because that's where all the pressure is coming from. Way too many. Y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Let me get myself together so I don't deliver such a lackluster performance in my next video. Peace.